taken us on that journey, Fred. Icy as it was. We welcome Carol Jaksa for the first time to the Telebration stage, and Carol has been a teacher for most of her life, and she brings that teacher's love of humanity, people, and the attention to detail in her tales. And she has a personal story for us tonight. Welcome, Carol.
This story will not be as hair-raising as the one you just heard. In fact, I hope it'll settle your nerves a little bit. My mother was in charge of our family, which isn't saying much because our family was only 3 people. My father, my mother, and me. So she didn't have much of a job to do to be in charge. However, she was that. And my father didn't really care if she was in charge because he loved to go build things and putter around, fix things, play golf, go bowling, visit with friends. We lived in the country, so we spent a lot of our family time together because we didn't have neighboring up and down the streets. My mother also lacked a bit of a sense of humor. And she also had a very poor barometer for crisis. Everything that was slightly amiss or wrong or went wrong, or even if the dog pulled something out of her dish, was met with, "Oh no, oh no, oh no!" We learned to ignore her. We learned to just take it with a grain of salt, and she never really got very far with us in terms of being alarmed whenever she started her "oh no's." Well, years went by, and I left home, got married, had a family of my own. And it was September, and my father called. Well, this was unusual because, like I said, my mother was in charge. And my father never called. She always handled all that stuff. First thing he said was, "Carol Ann, I have bad news. Mommy's in the hospital." Well, of course, I had to pack a bag real quick, make arrangements for my family, and drive the 100 miles to be supportive. Well, it was a serious event. She'd had a gallbladder attack, and she had bacteria that had backed up. Now she had pancreatitis, and she was really fighting bacteria after bacteria after bacteria. She had 2 doctors, the one who did the surgery. He was quite a nice man, and he was very positive. I'll call him Dr. Hale. And he was sure that she was going to come through. She was a fighter. He was very positive about the whole thing. And she had a second doctor. I'll call him Dr. Bitter. He came into the room. And proceeded to tell us about the people her age usually had only about a 30% chance of recovering from pancreatitis. We really didn't like talking to Dr. Bitter. She was in intensive care. You probably remember intensive care. That's where you know what they're doing. They're giving you intensive care. Now they call it ICU, and you have to stop and think, what is it? Where are they now? ICU. Oh yes, intensive care unit. But at the time, they just referred to it as intensive care, and you knew that that was what they were doing. She was in a coma almost all the time. She was filled with tubes and things running. machines blinking and fighting bacteria after bacteria. It was a serious time for her. She was definitely not in charge. Well, this went on all of September. And September was a really important month for her because there was a candy shop in Springfield, one that she particularly liked, and they had these wonderful chocolate creams, and they were always on sale in September. The last week of September, the doctors had decided that she could be in a room. Now, she had been in intensive care for almost 4 weeks. So she was put in a room. She was sort of in and out of consciousness, still lots of machinery around her, tubes and things, fighting bacteria after they just kept reoccurring. The last day of September, she woke up, got out of bed, got to the telephone, called Pieces Candy Shop, and ordered 4 or 5 pounds of candy. Got back in bed, fell back into a coma. All of October, she was still in the hospital. It was touch and go. However, she was in a main room. She was not in intensive care anymore. But there was a lot of question about the next bacteria. Would that one be worse than the ones before? Would she have to go back in intensive care? Well, no, she didn't. And it got to be November. The doctors were getting more positive and thinking that, she's making good progress. I think she probably will make it. You can go home for Thanksgiving Day, and then you have to come back to the hospital to finish your treatment for at least another 2 weeks. Okay, my dad was ecstatic. He ordered Thanksgiving dinner from a deli, invited us to come down, so we got in the car and we came down. She's sitting in a chair, and she's very happy to be home. She's very weak, but she's very happy. And she started telling me, Daddy and I made this layer salad. I just have been longing for this layer salad. Well, maybe you remember this layer salad. It was the most ubiquitous salad in the 70s and 80s. It started with iceberg lettuce, and then you put another layer of water chestnuts, a layer of onions, a layer of peas, and other things if you like something different in it. Frosted it with mayonnaise. Could put some cheese on top, possibly, or bacon on top. I have 6 of those books that you get from church organizations, school PTAs, and so forth. Every one of them has layer salad in it. In fact, I have a book from McAllen, Texas. McAllen, Texas is where you just drop off into Mexico if you take a walk. And the layer salad that they have in there is called No Wilt Salad 1, No Wilt Salad 2, No Wilt Salad 3. All of them the same salad with just slight variations. Well, she had been longing for the layer salad, and they had made that together. Well, I walked out into the kitchen to talk to my dad, ask if he needed any help. And I said, okay, how are things going? Went over and opened the oven door. And I saw this Pyrex dish in the oven. And I said, Daddy, what is this? And he took a look, and he got this stricken look on his face. That's the salad, he said. Well, if there was ever a time for any of us to have said, oh no, oh no, oh no, that was it. I said, do you have the ingredients, we can make it again. I opened it up, it was a sodden mess. So we threw away the baked salad and got the ingredients out. My mother is in the family room and she kept calling out, "Isn't that turkey ready yet? It has been heating long enough. Don't you think that's ready yet?" Well, we put the salad together and I said, "Okay, where are the peas?" And my dad said, "Peas? We didn't use any peas." So I said, "Well, we won't use any peas." So we finally got dinner on the table. We're all sitting around, the salad has been served, and we were having a good time. And all of a sudden, my mother said, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, Ira, we forgot the peas." "Peas?" my father said innocently. And he looked at me, I looked at him, and a bond between us formed. A bond so strong. Without a word, ever, I knew and he knew that we would never tell her what had happened. And we never did. And he retained his status as husband par excellence.